Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Linder, marriage family therapist, addiction specialist, relationship trainer, and the creator of the relationship model of addiction. So here it is, February 18th, and I'm going to be doing another video for you with the hope and the intention that this is going to be useful and valuable on your path of recovery. So today there's a couple of personal experiences that I'm going to share with you. One related to my own recovery, which I started sharing about over the last 3 weeks. I'm 3 weeks into it right now for my food addiction, and I had a breakthrough, a big insight that I'm going to share with you. And also, I had another breakthrough over the course of last weekend related to the self-revolution and my own experience of shifting my own paradigm. So let's start with where I'm at with my own recovery from food addiction. So what I wanted to share with you is that I'm doing fine. I'm staying on a track of eating healthy food. My awareness of myself is very heightened. I'm not in my addiction. However, I've been feeling very unsettled, especially around, going to restaurants and just being in situations where I just don't have the healthy food that I want to eat set up right in front of me. So that was creating anxiety because I was getting into this thing, what should I eat? I can't eat that, I can't have this. And also, along the same line about kind of getting settled into myself in my relationship with food, this has also come up around the trigger foods that I am staying away from now, around cake and cookies and chocolate and candy, ice cream and all that kind of stuff, and processed foods and French fries. So I'm having this problem that I don't want to be restrictive in where I'm coming from, and I don't want to be in a battle. I don't want to have this stuff that I go through around food. Oh, I better not have it, and this doesn't feel right. It's not like I'm never going to eat another slice of pizza for the rest of my life or have more candy or cookies, but I know it's a trigger food for me right now. I know I have a physiological reaction to it. I salivate at the thought of it or at the sight of it. So I know it's not good for me to eat right now, but at the same time, I don't want to get into this intense conflict about it and feel like I'm a squeaky wheel, or these it's like these are sexy foods to me. I just want to be able to be normal, have sexy foods like everyone else. So when I was sharing this with my wife, my partner Taya, she came up with a great idea for me. It really helped me. She said, well, why don't you practice what you preach? Why don't you, remember we always talk about no sexually intimate relationships during the first year of recovery? And I know it's a little bit different with food, but I got the analogy where I consider these foods, these trigger foods that I'm staying away from now, kind of sexy. So all of a sudden I'm going to apply that. I got that I could apply my own principle to my own experience. And what I've come up with is that I'm on a year plan. I'm not going to have sexy food for a year. I'm not going to have the candy, cookies, ice cream that I always eat, the processed foods, the bread and the cheese and the pizza and the French fries, and I'm going to have less meat. So rather than having to get into this battle and feeling weird and what's wrong with me and I don't want to go through this all the time, I'm just going to take a year. I'm going to follow my own advice, my own principle. I'm just going to do this for a year. So that was a tremendous relief. I'm on a year plan, and then we're going to see what happens after a year. I'm hoping that I have myself back. I'm more comfortable within myself, and I could look at some of these foods and eat some of these foods that right now are trigger foods without getting out of control and relapsing into my food addiction. So that's where I am, 3 weeks into it to this day. I'm still on the path of recovery, no relapses. Some close calls, some teetering at times when I've been eating too much at different times at night, but no bad food. So I'm on track in that regard. Okay, let's shift gears. I had another incredible experience and breakthrough last weekend. Now this pertains, let's shift gears a minute. This pertains to what I've been talking about for the last several weeks, the self-revolution, shifting the paradigm from other-centered relating to self-centered, from being externally located to being internally located. And also I was talking a lot about the relationship with yourself as being the most important relationship, and what having a relationship with yourself means is simply just being aware, self-aware of what you're thinking, feeling, and wanting at any given point in time, and want to put that out, want to manifest, want to represent yourself, want to express that. That's what having a relationship with yourself is. So just hold on that. Let me tell you what happened last week. I was in a workshop last week, I don't want to get into the whole process of what this workshop was about. Suffice to say that this is a meditation kind of weekend. And we did a meditation, and after the meditation, the teacher, Genpo Rochi is the name of the teacher, doing this Big Mind, he called it, this Big Mind weekend. And so he was asking people how the meditation was with regards to being in your awareness. As you know, I assume that you know, when it comes to meditation, it's often a process that comes down to experiencing your awareness, being in your awareness, communing with your awareness. So usually for me, when I meditate and I'm in my awareness, it feels wonderful. It feels clear and peaceful, and I don't have to, I'm detached. I'm not in control. I'm not caught up and consumed with my thoughts and my feelings. It's wonderful. I look forward to it. It's just where I could just breathe and relax. However, when he was asking us, he was engaging with me, the teacher, about what my experience was, on this meditation, I was finding it was very, very hard for me to sit in my awareness, and I had a lot of anxiety coming up. So he was asking me, well, what was going on? Where was I going? What was coming up with my anxiety? So I was sharing that what was coming up for me was that I became aware of this kind of aloneness, this sense of aloneness and loneliness and isolation, where there was no one around, and I was kind of out of space, lost at sea, disconnected from everything, and it was upsetting to me. It was discombobulating. So he was asking me, he was probing further into what was that about? Where was I coming from? What was underlying that? And I got in touch with this feeling of that I felt like a nobody when I was floating out in my awareness. I felt like a nobody and a nothing. And this is my whole life. I spend my whole life trying to not feel like a nobody or a nothing. This is what my life is about, because I want to be somebody great, make a big difference, be something of substance and value. And the last thing I'd ever want to be is a nothing and a nobody. So I was afraid of that. So then he was asking me just a little bit more questions about what it would be like if I could just own it, just own my feeling of, the fear of being nothing and nobody, and just own it and embody it and breathe it, take it in, just to embrace it. So all of a sudden, when I was engaging with him about it, it was like, wow, I'm nobody, I'm nobody, I'm nobody, I'm nothing. I'm letting it in, I'm feeling it in my body, and I'm nothing and nobody, and wow. And I started getting really pumped up, like, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, goddammit. I want to tell the world I'm nothing, goddammit. I'm really into it. I'm really into nobody and being nothing. It was like I was taken over. It was a completely incredible, instantaneous, unpredictable transformation. So this was about being aware of the meaning that I attached to being nothing and nobody, and the charge that I have about it, and how that dissipated and completely transformed when I was able to take it in, feel it, embody it, embrace it, as opposed to fight it and try to not identify with it. So this is something I think hope that you could use in your travels and on your journey. So at this point, I'll wrap up and just again remind you, I'm doing these talks. I really want to hear from you that at least you saw this, or if you have any comments and questions, please leave them. I want to just again remind everyone that I'm doing these two groups, this relationship transitions group and a recovery support group. And there are openings in there, and the groups are dynamic and incredibly exciting and powerful. So you have an opportunity there. And so until then, the quality of your relationships is the quality of your life.